All right, welcome back to Flex Socks, a podcast, episode 253. Today on the show, China is planning something. We're going to go over the number of Chinese illegals that are here, plus some of the weird stuff they're up to. Then, another mascot is under attack because of woke. This time it's the Mighty Midgets. We're going to tell you what's happening there. Then in Cringe of the Week, young people go into even more debt, this time to attend Coachella. We're going to go over that. And last but not least, in Urban Decay, we have a Lyft groper who got caught on camera. We're going to give you the details. All this and more, it's Flex Talks, the podcast, episode 253, ranked the best new podcast of all time.
Because words are just words until action actually starts. And actions speak louder than words, but at the same time, words speak louder than actions because sometimes it's the right thing to do. Very cool. Very cool.
It's Flex Talks, the podcast, featuring Richard Grabboy. All right, 1 for 1 on the intro, as always. Guys, our country just witnessed Donald Trump overcome political persecution, an assassination attempt, and the entire deep state in order to regain the presidency in a historic victory. There's one secret ingredient that allowed Trump to do all of this, and that is testosterone. What most people don't realize is testosterone makes men willing and eager to take on challenges, but sadly, too many of us have lost our fight, and that's exactly how the globalists want us. They want us weak, out of shape, and full of microplastics and estrogen with low T. That's why we've decided to partner with Chalk. Chalk offers a whole lineup of products formulated to increase your energy, focus, detoxify your body, and clinically studied boost your testosterone. Ingredients in the Chalk Male Vitality Stack have been clinically studied to boost free testosterone by 87% in just 21 days. Unlike the gimmicky vegetable pills or powder, you will feel the difference, and they have the clinical studies to back it up. And right now, you can get 25% off of your Chalk subscription for life. Just go to chalk.com, CHOQ.com, and use promo code FLECUS. And the best part, you can cancel easily at any time. Chalk is made in America, and their all-American customer service team is standing by and ready to assist you. Let's make male vitality great again. Get your Chalk today. CHOQ.com is the website, promo code FLECUS, and you could also call them at 50-CHALK-3000. Everything is linked in the description. Thank you to Chalk for sponsoring. Let's get into housekeeping. All right, thank you to Chalk for sponsoring.
Thank you, Chalk.
I love taking Chalk. I take it every day and I feel great.
I'm back on it recently.
Yeah, it feels good. Get the subscription. It's very easy. All right, lots to cover today. I don't know if you guys have noticed, we've been going longer with the episodes.
Yeah, I've noticed, but I don't mind. I like it.
I like it too, and then the algorithm seems to be rewarding us. So let us know if you guys like the longer episodes. I hope everyone says yes. We're probably going to be doing over an hour and 20, maybe even close to an hour and 30 now.
Sounds good, brother.
Feels good. All right, we have a lot to get to. Like I said, packed Cringe, packed Housekeeping, packed Urban.
What day of the week episode is this?
It's Tuesday, slightly different than Friday. Friday's a little more laid back. Everyone's enjoying themselves because it's Friday, no work on the weekends. Tuesday, a lot of work left.
Yeah, long week ahead of you guys. Get to work.
Get to work.
Get to slaving.
Watch this when you get home later. All right. The first story of the day, there was a fake space trip that the other Elon Musk did.
Yeah, Jeff Besos' Blue Origin, which I guess is leaning towards more passenger flights, and Elon's like launching satellites and delivering payload to NASA, and I guess Blue Origin does some of that, but it seems like a little more of a pet project versus like a real deal thing.
I call it a high plane ride.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
It's just a high plane ride. And yeah, here we have Katy Perry getting back and kissing the ground. She's very grateful. Mm-hmm. It was a all-woman crew. Yeah. And then when they were getting interviewed about it, this is what the woman on CBS said.
So explain to our audience why even a trip like this one, all the trips that we take into space benefit mankind.
So it benefits humankind, and I'm going to keep correcting the mankind and the man-made and the man missions, because this is exactly what this mission is about, is expanding the perspective of who does space.
Who does space? And she corrects him and makes him say humankind because it was an all-female flight crew. But it makes you wonder, who built the rocket? who set this whole thing up. It's all computerized.
It was autopilot, computerized route type shit.
So they're kind of conflating an all-female crew with all-female passengers.
Yeah, they keep calling them crew, as if Katy Perry's saying, "What are thrusters at? General, Captain, what are thrusters are failing? What do we do?" Katy Perry is telling Gail King, right?
Yeah, exactly. Then you have your little checklist. It's like, do not get out of your seat. Do not touch anything. Look out the window and enjoy.
Hands to yourself, over your chest, crossed. Like it's literally like a roller coaster ride, child shit.
I mean, it's almost like ironic, too, because, like, oh, it's all women. It proves that women can do space as long as a man builds the rocket, does autopilot, sends them up and brings them back, and then they can take cute pictures.
Yeah, and Jeff Bezos funded the whole thing. This is all a party. And then, of course, the guy on CBS, if you got the CBS job with the other two black guys interviewing the black lady for the all-women passenger flight, he has to say, "Oh, excuse me, humankind."
You're absolutely right.
We don't have to. We don't play by those rules.
Exactly.
We could say, "All right, this interview's over, bitch."
So the charade is over. We just kind of exposed it there. And then it's also happening in the military, too. Everyone lately has been a little tired of the pushing women to the front just because they're ladies thing. Yeah. In 2024, 4 women held 4-star ranks in the military. Now, there are 0.
Yep. And I wonder if that includes Admiral Levine or not. I kind of miss Admiral Levine.
You know? Think, is she still doing it?
It's like a heel. It's like a wrestling heel, Admiral Levine, you know?
Yeah.
Admiral Levine, what's he doing? It was fun to get angry at. And
yeah.
We moved on, but obviously that was lunacy.
Admiral Levine's top 5.
And I guess that might include the one we talked about last episode, the Vice Admiral.
Yeah, they got rid of her.
Okay. So
everyone's on their way out just because they're ladies. Okay, our next clip, believe it or not, guys, believe it or not, Democrats are thinking about doing impeachment again.
Impeachment is imminent. The filing of articles of impeachment is imminent. We are currently in a countdown to impeachment. Now, those who know me know that I wouldn't say this if I were not going to move on with it.
He goes, we're going to count down to impeachment. Yeah, we know. I'm sure we are.
For the last 10 years, last decade, we've had this. And he uses a picture of himself waving a cane at the State of the Union where he got thrown out. And now you're talking about impeachment. I don't think you're the impeachment guy if you can get thrown out of chambers, you know? But, I mean, this is normal Democrat shit. This guy could be helping his community, using his floor time to do something productive. But instead, it's the impeachment charade again.
Yeah. For this, I just wrote, yeah.
Get back in your hole.
And impeachment's coming soon. Yeah, we know.
And this is another geriatric. Why did they get the 82-year-old out there doing it?
That's a good point.
So,
all right, let's get to our next story. There's a lot of protests again over the weekend, and we caught one of the protesters doing a fentanyl.
His sign says, "We are all immigrants." And he took a couple blues. What do they call them? Couple blues.
A little quick K-hole at the protest?
Yeah. No, that's not a K-hole. That's, you got to know the difference.
That's a fentanyl.
That's a fentanyl. Come on. And then let's fast forward to the end really quick. I just want to show you guys. He goes on for a minute, but look, watch him snap out of this. Oh, back to it. Hold the sign. That's what I was supposed to do.
I bet that feels good.
I was going to say, this, it looks funny, it looks stupid, probably feels great.
Comfy in your spot like that.
Don't get addicted to painkillers. We've already got rid of that problem in America for the most part, other than the fent people. But that probably is pretty good.
And it also proves the point we always say, like, Democrats are the party of, like, weak men and homosexuals and unhappy women.
Criminals, illegals, drug addicts, gangbangers. That's like the welcoming arms. And this guy's doing a crossover episode.
He's a crossover episode, exactly. Illegals, drug addicts, unhappy women, homosexual men. It's a big tent.
Yeah.
Everyone's so loud.
Yeah, and they're going to impeach Trump, too. Al Green.
Yep. All right, we're moving on. Before we get to our migrant section, I want to play this clip. This is from Canada. The new Justin Trudeau just gave a speech about protecting Canada, which means taking away free speech. And listen to his justification.
Large American online platforms have become seas of racism, misogyny, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and hate in all its forms.
That's pretty good.
And they're being used by criminals to harm our children. My government will act. And today we're announcing our plan to fight crime, to protect Canadians, and to build communities that are safe, secure, and strong. A plan.
So safe and strong just means no free speech to talk about all the bad policies they've been implementing.
We've noticed you've been talking about our Indians a lot on Twitter. We don't want you to organize and talk about them anymore. We're still going to keep importing them.
Yeah, but we just can't have you talk about them until it's basically too late, which is where we're at right now.
The memes are too mean, and they're spreading too much. They're going like wildfire on Twitter, so it's over.
All right, we are in our migrant section now. Like we said, speaking of crossover episodes, this one hits a lot of the points too.
Cringe, urban,
yeah,
some twink shit.
Yep.
This 26-year-old man admitted to killing his 81-year-old husband. It unfolded inside their Southside home on Saturday.
Tonight, we're also learning the suspect is accused of illegally entering the country. Meantime, tonight, the victim's daughter calling the situation unimaginable.
Again, it's unbelievable in terms of what happened.
Katrina Mercado and her husband drove into San Antonio from California. She had just learned Monday that her father, 81-year-old Donald Wynett, was killed.
It just seems like pure evil.
Investigators say his husband, 26-year-old Alberto Rafael Ferrer Cabrera, called police Saturday, admitting to slashing his throat. When police got to their home...
Didn't know Rafael Ramirez Cabrera got down like that.
Didn't know the neck-tattooed gay guy who married someone for insurance, illegal fraud, or money could possibly harm him.
Yeah, shocking. Yeah. Everyone's shocked. As if it's like the Lake and Riley situation. It's like clearly some gangbanger gay. You think he's really gay?
I think he's got to be a little, to at least pretend.
At least
or maybe he's just a socio, through and through, sociopath.
Yeah, that could be more likely. But the surprise is not surprising to all of us.
And it's interesting when an 81-year-old gets murdered, it's like a little different. It's kind of like, yeah, all right. He was close anyway. I mean, obviously it's messed up, but the family should have intervened long before this. Yo, you're marrying 26-year-old Angelo Ferraro Cabrera? Yeah. Oh, no, that's good. Have fun on your honeymoon to Costa Rica or whatever.
Yeah, it's almost an easier way to go.
Yeah.
As opposed to just like slowly dying in like an old person home. You kind of just get it all done at once.
Yeah, and we got jokes, but, it's another illegal murdering an American on the books. So
yeah,
that's
not
why it's
funny.
in.
It's not funny. Yeah. All right, next we have an interesting story about an ISIS recruiter. Can you give that a read?
Yeah, judge sentences New York ISIS recruiter Nutella to 19 years in prison following tossed shockingly low punishment. This was a fat woman ISIS recruiter who was sentenced to, I think, 4 years in prison. That was thrown out in an appeals court, and then now a new judge actually took it seriously and sentenced her to 19 years behind bars for recruiting for ISIS.
Recruiting for ISIS, and that's the woman, this fat black woman.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you be beating someone up at the Popeyes drive-thru or something?
Shouldn't you be working at the DMV, and that's the top end of your career? That's the top end of what you can be doing? Instead, you fell into the path of ISIS, which is so bad.
It's an easy, hey, every day we get tempted
to
become ISIS recruiters and go down that path.
And her real name is Sinmaya Caesar, but her nickname is Nutella.
And you had a funny tweet about that we should show here.
Oh, I just said, what flavor froyo do you want? Nutella. That's it. It's not even good. You set me up for that.
Wow.
But
that's some of your best work.
But yeah, there's this weird thing going on where these fat, I don't know, it's like an HR department for ISIS. Like these kind of women in the ISIS, the areas they control, probably 3 square miles at this point, they're decimated. These women don't have a say in anything. But when it comes to recruiting, they get desperate. And I like when they get caught. I like when Westerners get caught doing the dumbest possible shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
And they do it because they hate America.
Yeah.
It's like the enemy of my enemy. Oh, the ISIS must be the good guys. This is how much I hate America because of slavery.
Federal prison for 19 years.
Nutella, 19 years.
Yep.
All right, let's move on. We can't get bogged down. There was an anonymous post about the bathroom conditions at a real American company.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. We had to put black bars to censor the cartoon because it is a little graphic, but you can pretty much see what's going on. Can you give that a read, Richard?
Yeah, this guy says, we have an Indian bathroom where I work that nobody dares to use. There are 13 Indian guys who work in our IT department. Next to them is a toilet. It is fucking shit-covered chaos in there 24/7. We've literally had housekeeping staff quit over having to deal with it. When the bathroom near my department, which is the only other bathroom on our floor, is closed for maintenance or whatever, People will go 2 floors down to the sales floor to avoid going anywhere near the Indian bathroom. The only time I ever went in there was when I was new, and there was a smeared feces handprint on the mirror. The floor was flooded with piss and shit water, and one of the other stalls had what must have been an entire industrial roll of toilet paper all over the toilet/floor, also covered in shit, of course. The bleeping executives, this is a Fortune 100 company, by the way, regularly have meetings about what to do, but there's simply nothing to be done other than straight up getting rid of them. This is what they are. They live in a literal world of shit.
A lot of shit stuff, a lot of butt play.
A handprint? Do you believe this?
I believe it.
It gets a little stretch. It maybe feels like
well, maybe let us know in the comments if you guys have any experiences with people from Asia or India or Pakistan or whatever in America, some of the nasty shit they've done. Let us know in the comments.
I know about washing up in the sink and, kind of blowing out the bathroom and a bad diet. I know about all that stuff.
Overflowed toilets.
But putting your hand on the shit is where it leaves the ring true meter for me.
An overflowed toilet and then you still kind of use it.
Yeah, you squat over it. Like that rings true.
That works.
This guy might have been exaggerating.
All right, let us know in the comments if you guys have any experience. All right, let's get to our China section. There's lots to talk about here. We have first from N Wokeness, the number of illegals from China from 2021 to 2024. Can you read that increase?
Yeah, so for over those 4 years, it went from 342 to 1987 to 24,000 to 33,000. So huge spike up those last 2 years.
Huge spike up. And we have a graph here that shows it as well. We have some B-roll in the background of some detained Chinese illegals.
Yeah, and we've shown these during the peak of the migrant crisis. We've shown some of these videos before.
It's all middle-aged men,
yeah.
90-something% men, which is interesting. And it makes you wonder, what are they doing here? Are they power grid attackers? It seems like they probably have a mission.
Sleeper cell types. Are they truly just looking for a better life? I don't know. It's a mix.
And
numbers that big, though.
Numbers that big get sketchy. And also, keep in mind, this is what the border in China looks like to keep people in. It's all razor wire, double enforced razor wire.
And was that during COVID when they were trying to keep people in between?
Yeah. So that's keeping people in. So if you do get out, you basically have to figure that out with the government to be allowed out. So the fact that so many people are coming here illegally across the border and got the okay from the Chinese government first makes me think that they're sneaking around and they could have a plan.
And remember, there was a Central American country that they took over the hotel at. That was kind of like you get here and then you go through to the southern border. I forget which country that was, but it was a hotel that had like signs in Chinese, basically. So there's a, what do you call it? Underground railroad for Chinese people to get here.
And do whatever the plan is.
Yeah, and what is the plan is becoming the question.
I think it's power grid attackers. All right.
And China is our number one geopolitical foe right now, and they love spying. They love stealing corporate information. They do a lot of corporate espionage. They love hanging around universities. They get thing for Boston University, and then I go to MIT. And I steal secrets. You know,
like that.
So there's a lot of things they could do, and it's very easy for the Chinese government or other Chinese spies. We've caught some in the military recently, right? We caught some driving around our senators, right? Dianne Feinstein.
Yeah.
So it's easy once you get these kind of sketchy ones who are already lawbreakers in to tap them and kind of ask them to do something, right?
Sleep a cell.
Sleeper, I sleep. I sleep until I wake, and then we strike the power cells.
Yeah, that's how I think it goes down. Yeah. Tom Homan gave a speech, and listen to what he said about it.
I'm telling you right now, something's coming. You don't have 57,000 Chinese military-aged males enter the country without the cooperation of the Chinese government. That just don't happen in China.
Well, see, you got that from me.
Yeah, I think you got that from him, and then you built this section off Tom Homan. So, but yeah, definitely. I mean, those numbers are huge, and I can't imagine they're all coming here to do a restaurant.
Yeah.
That's what they'll tell you, but I can't imagine that's true.
Me neither. And then, this is where it gets interesting as well. In Alhambra, California, there is a Navy recruitment center, and look at what's going on. This is in Alhambra, California, and this is a Navy recruitment center for our Navy.
这是我单位的领导， 你好，简单的 PRT 的一个 brief 仅此而已，不会真正的 PT 的那种。
然后我知道签字对吧？
对，签字。签一下那个。
All right, we get it.
So they're fully Chinese, they're speaking Chinese, and then there's a be all you can be poster.
And everyone's the core language is Chinese. Everyone's speaking Chinese, and that's what they're doing. Can you read the context?
Yeah, the woman who posted this was from like a YouTube video, and she said every recruiter here is Chinese, as well as all the people coming to enlist. The working language is Chinese. The video was filmed by a Chinese language YouTuber, and the U.S. Navy recruiter who took him there to film it all is EN2 Q Lang Wang. I don't know if that's a YouTube name or
Tom Fitton.
Yeah. No, not Tom Fitton. Pete Hegseth. Get on this, Pete.
I was like, Tom Fitton can maybe sue them or something.
Yeah.
But Pete Hegseth, please.
And then one of the guy who like is a recruiter, his contact information is provided, which is a WeChat ID, which the Chinese Communist Party has access to, of course. So, you know, an entire little pocket of our military recruitment is all being done in Chinese. And you think one of the Chinese top information analysts isn't like, what if we put someone in there?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's easy pickings, right? So China's maneuvering around. They're doing a little sneaky shit. We're not even going to touch on the farmland that they own that's near military bases and all that stuff. But they're setting up for, you know, China keeps saying, oh, we've been around for 5,000 years. We can wait you out. They're on a long game plan. They don't necessarily need to strike this week. They don't need to take Taiwan next week. But they're certainly positioning and angling themselves for something nefarious is what it seems like to me.
I agree. Pete Hegseth, please investigate. And then, like you said, there's an underground railroad to get into America. There's probably like, oh, yeah, and then you go to Alhambra, California, and you're 22, so you volunteer for the Navy. You speak to Quang Long.
You get on submarine. Then you steal secrets on the submarine.
And then you tell us how to build it.
Your uncle make dumpling.
And then just to pretend you work at the restaurant. Yeah, so that's it for our China section.
And to be fair, there's a lot of nice Chinese people.
And I'm sure some are fine people.
I like Chinese people who work hard, do restaurant. They have their 12-year-old son work at the front desk.
Does math.
They do Peking duck.
General Tso, steamed dumplings.
You know, there's good people, but we got to take ourselves seriously.
Yeah.
And the illegals, and they shouldn't be speaking Chinese in a recruiting center. So,
and then anyone who says like, oh, like ordering sesame chicken and General Tso's is kind of a waste because it's basically the same thing. No, it's not.
That's me.
No, it's not. Get something else on top of that, and then you have pickings, whatever you want.
But we don't do that anymore.
We don't, and we're gonna get to that in the final page of housekeeping. All right, let's move on.
You want to do this last Chinese video or no?
Nah, you basically made the point.
Okay.
There was a video of a guy talking about tariffs, and the guy's like, we don't care. China's been around for 5,000 years. We have nothing to do, nowhere to go.
They're always talking about how they've been around for 5,000 years as if Japan wasn't just conquering you, doing whatever they wanted to their people. And like you weren't splintered peasants, like doing rice farming. And then 5,000 years, you've been around for 5,000 years. How long have you been selling cheap plastic shit to America?
Yeah.
That's been about 40.
Yeah.
That's been about 50 years, tops.
That's a good point.
So, I don't know. They like to act tough and act like 5,000 years of us being roughly, you know, kind of...
existing.
Existing, barely. Many famines, many struggles. I don't know. It's like, it doesn't translate to exactly winning a trade war right now.
Yep, exactly. All right. Let's get to our second part of our migrant section, which is more about Europe. Mm-hmm. The U.S. travel advice now says El Salvador is safer than France, Sweden, UK, Italy, Germany, and Spain. Europe is unrecognizable, which isn't even crazy because El Salvador did a great job of locking up everyone who does crimes and murders.
And Bukele just came to actually visit President Trump in the Oval Office, and he cleaned it up. We update our worldview, you know? It's... France, Sweden, UK, Italy. You've seen them. You've seen the videos.
Mm-hmm.
You think that doesn't affect the crime and the theft and the violence?
Well,
it does.
It does, and we're going to show you some of those videos now.
Bukele had a good quote, actually, too, where he said, people say I locked up thousands, or he said I locked up thousands, but I'd like to say I liberated millions. And that's
so true.
That's our perspective on the show, too. It's the empathy for not the criminal, which is where all the leftist energy goes. Empathy for the criminal, the perpetrator. It's empathy for the everyman, the hard worker, the taxpayer, right? So,
exactly, bro. All right.
Good quote.
This is what London looks like these days.
Squalor. Seats out on the street.
Trash on the ground. Third world country.
Cheap, garish trinkets.
Yeah. And that's why a trip to El Salvador is probably not such a bad idea.
Didn't Elijah Schaffer go to El Salvador recently?
I don't know. Did he?
Yeah, we got to talk to him. We got to text him.
I didn't realize he did. Yeah, I'll ask him. And then, obviously, with the migration comes more representation within the government and more people pushing for the Muslims and what they want. This person that we're about to show is the mayor of Brighton in the UK.
If you're thinking you're not getting enough energy, you must look what is your food, what is your body need. Your body, you are putting energy in an office, in a working place, but you're not giving enough for yourself. How could
he sounds like you.
Yeah, he's right.
Giving health advice.
He's right. But that's the mayor of Brighton?
Can't even speak English. How can you address anyone? And that's the truth is he's not addressing everyone. He's addressing his people. The people who got him elected, the Muslims, who will eventually put some law that makes that pub, that 1,300-year-old pub is out, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And then, obviously, with that comes a lot of changing in laws, too. This person is accused of committing a hate crime because he asked, why aren't people speaking English?
You may have filmed some of this interaction with the mayor. No? Because if you do, that would be really handy for us. But apparently during some conversations between yourself, apparently you have alleged, we weren't here, so I don't know you said it, but you've alleged to say, speak English, or words to that effect?
Speak clearly.
Speak clearly.
No, the gentleman's partially deaf.
Yeah, he
can
speak clearly. Yeah.
So I couldn't even hear him.
No, and that's fine, and that's why we've just come to speak, because potentially someone could perceive that as a hate crime.
Did we just know this was going to happen?
No, I know. People, you know, if someone says to me...
So the guy said, speak clearly, when talking to, I believe, a third world migrant.
And he said he's partially deaf.
And he's partially deaf, couldn't hear, so he said, speak clearly. And the cop said that this could be deemed as a hate crime.
And you look at everyone's reaction. They all scoff and go, oh my God, the biggest eye roll you've ever seen, right? And everybody thinks like that. Everybody knows it's a big joke, but the cop still comes and does it. Everybody reacts like that, throws their head back. You've got to be kidding me. And then it ends there.
Yeah.
And then they'll infringe on your rights and they'll infringe on your liberties for the foreseeable future, right? As long as they keep importing these third worlders, and the police are there to enforce for the third worlders, the native population can't rise up. And I don't think this gets to anywhere healthy where instead of scoff and eye roll, they say, get him.
Yeah.
Don't let him leave. You know,
that's what
get the fuck out of here.
That's what I was going to say.
Any one of those. Right?
The UK used to be the most powerful country in the world.
Yeah. Great seafaring nation, colonizing, doing whatever they wanted.
Then they have this, and then you have some men who come from the lines of people that built the nation. Mm-hmm. I'm surprised you don't see more violent uprisings against a cop like that who says, oh, this is a hate crime. Meanwhile, they're letting rapists go and people who get into big trouble who are migrants, they don't treat the same as they do white people. For example, someone posted a racist comment on Facebook, 15 weeks in prison. Sold anti-immigration stickers, 24 months in prison. Raped 12-year-old girl, 180 community hours, no prison time.
Yeah.
So how does that...
Community service for a 12-year-old...
Yeah. How does that not get escalated to the point where people are getting violent? I don't understand.
Yeah, and
we're not encouraging it, but that's like we're pretty much there. You're asking for it.
When the group of people universally scoffs and reacts in an insane way, like, oh, I can't believe you said that. Instead of that, they channel it into like action or something. Like the cop should be afraid to go in there, or you know what I mean? The cop should be like, oh boy, I'm going to get run out of town again if I do that stupid bit that I was doing. So I don't know. I'm hoping for the best, but at a certain point they flip it with the immigration surging to a point, and then you have to really fight back, and the fight back becomes harder. You know?
Yeah. And then before we move on, there was another Telegraph headline. Can you give that a read?
This was from the UK again. It says, deporting migrant would stress him out, judge rules. Alcoholic Somali criminal allowed to stay in UK due to high level of vulnerability.
But you saying speak clearly, I can't hear because I'm deaf, that's a hate crime.
The alcoholic Somali criminal can't leave. It would stress him out.
He'll stressed out.
But the police come and heckle you over having a differing opinion from some migrant who, can't even talk. And I assume the migrant couldn't even talk.
Yeah, of course not.
So,
all right, but don't tell him to speak clearly. Don't tell the alcoholic Somali criminal to speak clearly.
And this is actually funny because they don't do a New York Post headline. They just say alcoholic Somali criminal. Alcoholic Somali criminal gropes 3 on the subway.
Yeah.
That's pretty funny.
That is pretty good. All right, that's the end of our migrant section. We have another section here about Austin Metcalf updates, that murder.
Yeah.
We're going to go quick through it because it's obviously an older story. Can you read that?
Well, there's a video. Texas authorities have video of Austin Metcalf, Carmelo Anthony confrontation before fatal stabbing. So that's going to be part of the trial.
And in related news, now that there's a video, their attorney stepped down.
Yeah, attorneys Billy Clark and Kim T. Cole no longer represent 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony in the murder case against him. We don't know if those two, the video and that, are connected, but obviously the legal team would have access to that sensitive information.
Yep, and they also lowered the bail from $1 million to $250K.
So he might be a little ankle monitor boy soon.
Yep.
Which doesn't seem right to me.
Doesn't seem right to me either. And then there was some talks about the incident itself. Matt Walsh tweeted, "Touch me and see what happens are not the words of a man fearing for his life. They are the words of a man looking for a pretext to kill you," which is what I think.
Touch me and see what happens, especially when the result has already been revealed. Touch me and see what happens. And he really did have a knife and he really was stabbing you. Yeah, of course Matt Walsh is right. He's looking for a pretext.
It's like premeditated.
And he did it.
And he did it. It's not like someone broke into your house at 3 a.m. and they're beating your head in and then you pull out a knife.
Yeah.
It's a little different. And then can you read the reply?
Yeah, some black guy goes, "This must be some sort of cultural disconnect. What he said was a warning to not touch him after being approached in an aggressive fashion."
Yeah, it's definitely a cultural disconnect. Were you fearing for your life at the track meet where there's like coaches and men and other people that would have broken up a fight if it escalated?
You know how many people have been killed at a track meet over a seat? Thousands. Yeah. I had to stab him. I had to preempt it.
Yeah.
Cultural disconnect is an understatement at this point, guys.
Yeah, that there is a cultural disconnect.
Yeah.
And like that guy just proved it. And he didn't make the point he thought he did. He actually proved there is a cultural disconnect. Well, I thought talking shit means you're going to get stabbed after.
Yeah.
Yeah, but not everyone's on that same page.
In your hood, in the hair trigger impulsive hood, maybe, but we live in suburbia, and that's where this was done. So
exactly. All right, we're moving on to our final page of housekeeping. Before we get there, we have a very special message from our best friend, Farmer Bill. Guys, a recent study shows that 90% of Americans are not hitting their daily protein threshold. If you're a show watcher, you need to be strong and you need to be hitting your protein goals. But that's not always easy when you're working hard and on the go. Well, Farmer Bills has your back. Boost your T levels, stay full longer, and hit your daily protein goals with Farmer Bill's air-dried biltong. All other beef companies lace their beef with soy and lab chemicals, but Farmer Bill is a show watcher and knows what's up. No soy, no MSG, no nitrates, and no artificial flavors. His meat snacks are cured with apple cider vinegar, sea salt, and herbs and spices. Me and Richard Rapway are constantly eating these on the go because they are the cleanest snack out there. Grab some today and use the new code FLECKUS20 at checkout for 20% off. That's the biggest discount I've seen from Farmer Bill to date. I recommend the bestseller bundle because you get 4 packs of the sliced biltong, original and spicy chili flavor, a half-pound slab, and 2 grass-fed tallow bombs, which are great to keep your skin moisturized and healthy. FLECKUS20 is the new code. It's linked in the description. Thank you to Farmer Bill for sponsoring. Let's get into the final page of housekeeping.
Farmer Bill's Provisions, the perfect protein snack.
All right, thank you to Farmer Bill for sponsoring.
Thank you, Farmer Bill.
We love Farmer Bill here at the show. All right, we're into the final page of housekeeping where I can say whatever I want and go on unhinged schizo theory rants.
Okay.
Make sure you guys tickle and juice. You know what to do. First one is about the helicopter crash in New York with the Siemens CEO and his family. I'm not commenting on this, but Richard will read this tweet.
Yeah, from some third party, so it's fully laundered away from us. A Siemens CEO just died in a suspicious helicopter crash weeks after the U.S. attorney, Jessica Hebert, who prosecuted Siemens, was found dead in her sleep. Their last CFO died by suicide. One company, massive scandals, a few deaths, getting tough to ignore.
Very tough to ignore.
I couldn't vouch for any one of those.
But if that's all true,
Yeah.
there's something going on.
Yep.
All right, and then obviously with something going on, things get escalated. What happens? I don't know. The world goes to shit. You need a 50 cal on the
your
truck.
Yeah, you do. In Texas. This was filmed in Texas. Looks like a Ram diesel.
Like a diesel, yeah.
6-wheel truck.
6-wheel diesel with the 50 cal on it.
Yep. Gotta have it.
First, you got to armor the truck, which is where I'm at now. I'm in that process of armoring the Hummer. And then I'm not crazy. I'm not going to drive around like that.
Yeah.
You just get the 50 cal, keep it in the garage. And then if you have to mount it, the mount's already there. You just put the mount in, screw it in, 50 cal on the roof, no big deal.
There you go.
All right.
It's easy. It's really easy.
Okay, next, this is a little bit of a nostalgia post. I can't believe we all used to have one of these bad boys right before school. You guys remember doing that?
Remember getting Frosted Flakes or some type of cereal and then pouring sugar on top of it?
And then at the end, you get those scoops of like the crystal sugar milk, and it tastes so good. You guys remember that?
And it's kind of crunchy, and you're like almost biting it. It's like liquid, but you're biting it. And I never did that before school. That was like a treat, you know, a way.
I used to do it before school, but I had to sneak it.
Yeah.
I had to like sneak into the cabinet and get the sugar and put it in. My mom would not serve me that, of course.
Yeah, because your mom always had sugar. She couldn't hide that from you. And, you know, they wouldn't keep desserts in the house type thing. But, yeah, I used to do this a lot. I think I was watching like the Disney Channel or Nickelodeon eating these. I think I gained 20 pounds one summer. Had a bad summer.
That's what's up. That feels good.
It was a good time.
All right, next, what is that? I have not seen this.
This is sent to me. This is your AI action figure with Oyster Boy shirt, aliens, oysters, Jerry, golf clubs.
All right, Nick, blur that, please. Blur me in that. That is an AI mistake, I believe.
That looks exactly
no,
like you.
It does not, Nick. Blur that.
He might weigh less than you.
No. He weighs more, and he's not as tall as me. Nick, we're going to blur that. Thank you. That is motivating, though. I am starting today, kind of like I mentioned earlier, a clean 50. I'm doing 50 days straight of keto meals, 1 meal a day, keto OMAD for 50 days. I had a good run. I enjoyed myself. I ate pizza. I ate Philly cheesesteaks. I ate pies and donuts.
Yeah. I'm doing a similar thing, but I'm already a week in. I'm in keto already. So we're getting back on track. The key emphasis here, you know, you go through cycles in life. You're up and down, you're up and down. Key emphasis here, remember we told you guys all about it at the beginning. And the Super Bowl, we had a pig day.
We were deep in keto before the Super Bowl. We had our cheat meal, Super Bowl.
And then from the Super Bowl until now, or like a week ago, you can do the math. We had a fun time. Philly cheesesteaks, pizza, doing disgusting shit.
I remember one day I ate a pizza at like lunchtime, and then at like 8 or 9 o'clock at night, I ordered sushi and dumplings.
Yeah, that sounds like you.
You know? And those days are over.
It's time to get back on track.
It's time to get back on track. 50 days from now takes us to like the beginning of June, which isn't even that far away.
Okay.
50 clean, 1 meal a day, keto 1 meal a day, 50 days straight. And then at the end of the 50 days straight, we're not doing a cheat meal.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go, now I can go eat whatever, because then the whole summer is going to be a pig summer. I'm going to probably just keep going, hopefully.
There's two speeds, completely reducing yourself and restricting it, or a pig summer. It's going to be a pig summer.
There's no in between.
Yeah.
Okay. So Clean 50 starts now. Next, I found a picture of the worst golf promotion ever. It's black guy doesn't matter. I think everyone plays golf, but I think the goal of the ad was to be inclusive. Like, black people play golf too. Like, we have to show that. And then by showing that, you put a guy in the sand trap with his clubs in the sand trap, holding a driver
out of the sand,
and holding it in a way. Look at his hands. Like, he didn't. That's not how you swing a club.
Yeah, he's holding it like a samurai holds a sword about to behead a shogun. And yeah, the driver out of the sand on the greenside bunker.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay. So
that was just funny to me. And also, speaking of golf, the Masters was over the weekend. Congrats to Rory McIlroy.
What a great performance. You know, I like watching the Masters, Sunday at the Masters. It's great. That was the most emotional reaction that there's been in 25 years. He really was waiting for it. He hit some crazy shots. That was we're swinging on our diets. He was up and down too, but completed the career Grand Slam. Hell of a guy.
Yeah, that was a great performance. I have a golf-related question for you.
Hold on. I actually don't like, Rory said something at the end. He goes, I liked in the playoff it was both Euros. So he really likes Europe too much.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, fuck you, Rory.
I wanted him to have a meltdown. And on the first hole, when he got like a bogey, I was like, he's done. Here comes Bryson. And Bryson, you know what happened.
Yeah, Bryson's kind of our guy. Bryson likes Trump.
Sorry, Bryson. He's a show watcher. Yeah. We're not making fun of you. We just really wanted you to win.
Bryson will get a green jacket.
He will. You will. You will, Bryson, watcher.
Show watcher Bryson. Do we mention he watches the show?
I have a question for you.
Okay.
If you were at the Masters on a par 3 and you hit your iron onto the green.
Yes.
And you give your club to the caddy. Do you take the putter and walk to the green with your putter, or do you walk with no club and then take your putter at the green?
I take the putter and walk with it, especially green in regulation. Kind of makes you feel like you earned something. It makes you feel swaggy a little bit.
Because when you're walking around the course with no club, you're not even playing golf. You're just walking around.
Yeah.
But if you have a club, it's
Tiger does that though.
He just walks.
He just walks.
And he probably does his glove.
Yeah.
I would take the club early. I've always wanted a club in my hand.
Me too.
You're golfing. That's what you're doing.
Me too.
All right. We got to go fast with the last pieces. We can't waste time. Not Jimmy Buffett. What's his name?
Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett. Billionaire, one of the richest guys in the world. He's like 90-something years old. He's been doing it forever.
He's worth like $150 billion personally, right?
And Rapboy brought this up to me. I thought he made a great point. Can you kind of explain?
Well, I used to joke with my friends that Warren Buffett, he had that meme where, he's living in the same house he bought in 1958 in Omaha, Nebraska, and he's not materialistic. And so he still lives in the modest Omaha home he bought for $31,000 in 1958. And it's a nice middle-class home, it's high-end, whatever. But I always thought, all right, is that a little marketing thing? Who are you doing that for? You really didn't want to spend any money on a nice house? You didn't want to move to a country club, do something cool? And then I saw another tweet about this. Berkshire, it was someone reporting on some moves that Berkshire is making because they famously are holding a ton of cash right now. They sold out of a lot of positions before this most recent market volatility. And someone else quote tweeted it and said, why didn't Buffett build anything great? He's 94. He could have built any magnificent thing he wanted to. He could have tried to start a city. Instead, he plays around in the market.
So true.
And that I agree with that. It set me off, right? Bezos, he's doing the all-chick flight on the rockets, and he's building the biggest yacht you've ever seen. Zuckerberg owns a cow farm in Hawaii now with a bunker, doing whatever. Elon buys Twitter for fun.
Yeah.
Larry Ellison, the guy who does Oracle, he bought like the whole island of Lanai in Hawaii. These people are doing stuff, and everyone's got their own mission. Warren Buffett's 94. What has he enjoyed? What has he done?
That's a good point.
I don't know. He's collecting all the tokens just to say I collected the most tokens, is what I think.
And it's like, this year, it's like 100 billion more tokens. And he goes, very good.
Good tokens this year. And then he never uses the tokens.
Never use the tokens.
So it's not really that serious, but is there something nefarious about being that humble guy who still drives the old car when you're like one of the top 10 richest in the world? I don't know.
That's a good point.
Leave it up to the audience to decide. It just gets he still drives the car. He still lives in Omaha. He never spends anything. Then what are the tokens for?
I spend the tokens. I don't even have them.
I know. We're going to debt.
I have more fun than Warren Buffett does.
I don't know about that.
I think I do.
Maybe he's into some sick shit on the back end
that
we don't know about.
He got a twink bunker.
He's got a blood boy and a twink bunker, and he keeps them stocked. That's a joke, obviously. We can't say anything because Warren Buffett's got the tokens to take away our tokens.
That's a good point, too.
So, I don't know. I just feel it's a little weird.
Feels a little weird. And like you said, he's holding a huge cash position right now because the economy is a little volatile. Mm-hmm. And that's where our next tweet meme comes in. It says, now I know why my dad used to wake up at 4 a.m. and just sit at the kitchen table for an hour. That's relatable.
That's the only piece. That's the only piece he had.
All right, our last clip of housekeeping before we move on is just a handy trick, a little technique that you guys can do if you're ever hanging off of a balcony and there's a small rope that could help you. This is what you do. You wrap it around, you wrap it over, you do a basic knot. Well, I lost it a little bit there, but
I couldn't keep track of the end of the knot.
But, watch this over and over until you get it. And then if you ever need to hang from a rope instead of your hand, that's how you do it.
Good for you.
Can't say this show doesn't help anybody.
Yep.
All right, well,
Play
that's
that in slow motion. Go back and learn it.
Yep, that's the end of housekeeping. We're now moving on to Cringe of the Week. All right, our first clip of Cringe of the Week. Mascot is being canceled. The Freeburg High School Mighty Midgets. Apparently that's offensive, and here's the story.
I mean, after all these years, I think it would be very odd to change it. Nobody would know who it is.
For nearly 9 decades, Freeburg High School has proudly been the home of the Mighty Midgets. While some say the name is outdated and offensive, others argue it's a proud part of the town's history. The mascot's origin dates back to the 1930s when a local sports writer coined the nickname after a basketball team, despite having no player taller than 5'10" defeated a much larger undefeated opponent. But today, advocacy groups like Mascots Matter has been pushing for years to remove the mascot, arguing it is offensive to people with dwarfism. Many in Freeburg disagree.
It's not meant to make fun of people. It's a tradition that's been going on since the 30s, and it wasn't meant to be disrespectful.
The bill states that the school must remove all mascots, logos, and imagery related to the name and select a new mascot. Schools would still be allowed to use uniforms and materials purchased before the law takes effect, but only for a limited time. Locals stated that a few years ago, members of Little People of America protested outside the school, urging the district to reconsider. Locals would like this to be determined by a local election.
If our town voted on this at the next election thing we have, then fine. If the majority agrees that we should get rid of it, that's fine, but I don't think people feel that way. People are proud of the midgets.
This is a big problem for you guys.
This is what the lobbyists, they need to, and you understood what they're saying. They're trying to pass a bill at the Illinois House of Representatives to go over the top and make sure this small town in Illinois can't do the Mighty Midgets.
And they had a protest. The Little People had a protest, so they drove to the high school. They stood outside, got upset and said, "Mighty Midgets, come on, I'm standing right here."
It's offensive.
Come on, look at all these midgets. Are you making fun of us?
Yeah.
So you guys went really out of your way.
They drove to small town Illinois.
And said, come on.
Probably had a bus. They had a caravan. It's like, okay, everybody got their snacks, their drinks, we're headed out.
They loaded them up.
The Mighty Midgets, we got to stop them.
And then also the group Mascots Matter.
Yeah.
I did some research into that. I'm not going to say anyone's names. We're not going to dox anybody, but here's the board of Mascots Matter. There's their advocates. A little biased, I think.
I think they have a specific angle that the people of Freeburg, Illinois, don't share, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
I think Little People are really trying to make midget like the M word. They really, and it's like, let's relax. We give stuff the power that it has. It's not like anybody's saying, "Get out of here, midget," you know?
Yeah, or like making you do stuff.
Yeah, there's nothing. Actually, Peter, you should be mad at Peter Dinklage. He's making you lose acting jobs. The Seven Dwarfs were generated.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the opposite of what's actually an issue. Like midgets are not under attack right now.
Yeah.
And the group Mascots Matter, it's just a bunch of complainers. They're not innovating and saying, oh, here's 50 new potential mascot names. They're just going and word policing all the mascots that exist already.
That's so true. If they were a mascot think tank and they were like 50 new mascots a day on my desk, I want the logos, I want the color schemes, that'd be sick. Oh, yeah. Dude, we're giving high schools a new creative way to do something. They're just, no, you can't do it.
This is offensive. And then there's another team, the baseball team Knicks' Gold Diggers name change after promotional video sparks outrage, sexist and demeaning. So like, oh no, you can't be the Gold Diggers. Oh no, you can't be the Coney Island coin clippers. That's offensive. And they're just, all they're doing is pulling the pendulum back.
Yeah.
At some point, the Mighty Midgets was funny in the 1930s, and that was Americana, and that was a sign of the times.
And it's based off a short basketball team.
Yeah. And now it's, no, we have to police that, and they have to pull the pendulum back. And that's who Mascots Unanimous or whatever is.
Yeah, and you know what? You should be ashamed to work at a place like that, whose only job is to like harass and know and do this. And then they walk in, we talk about fake email jobs or like women having fake jobs or fake economy jobs. This is one of the biggest offenders I've ever seen.
Yeah, they're just a bad one.
Just you're only focused on what mascots can be, and it's only negative. You're not even creating anything. So that's the type who I wouldn't be surprised if there was a USAID money trail leading to the beginning of this.
And I know we talk about this mostly in Bonus Land about our financial spendings and our habits. I saw an investment opportunity. I bought some of the Mighty Midget merch from the high school website.
That's smart.
Because that's going away soon. And I'm going to have one of the last sleeveless hoodie Mighty Midget shirts.
There you go.
All right, we're moving on to our next clip. This is going to be a shorter clip. It's just kind of funny to me. This woman thinks she's a dragon.
What planet are you from?
I don't know planet-wise, but I do know that I was a dragon being.
Could you really blow fire?
Yes, but it's not fire in the way we think of it. It's more cleansing fire. I always kind of felt attracted to dragons, just feeling like, oh yeah, this is my kind of being. But then, as I was really feeling that, allowing myself to open up more, I'm like, I know what it's like to be a dragon. I know the physical sensations.
And then you was on mushrooms and you was just feeling it?
It's actually weak.
So I bring this up because I have a core DNA memory of being a different being.
Hippo?
No, try again.
Big, fat, just trying to think. Fat, big, giant rhinoceros?
No, that's strong.
Big, smelly, fat.
I think you're not going to get it. No. A tuna.
What?
I have a memory of huge open ocean waves going like over me, and I'm just in the water, and then with one little thing, I could feel the water going across my whole smooth body.
All right, smooth body. Yeah.
Strong tuna.
Didn't know that's the angle you were going to take. I thought, we were going to say make-believe gender has a second make-believe leg, and, it happens to be dragons, and they're already made up. So it's
I'm on her side.
It's a made-up within a made-up within a made-up, and then you're over here saying I was a tuna.
I'm here saying I get what you're saying.
Not your typical cringe, I guess.
All right, let's move on.
Okay.
Next, we have a streaming site where you can get paired with random people. And we have a pairing of a Down syndrome person and a trans person.
What, fool? What's up, bro? What the fuck? What?
I ain't saying it.
Wait, bitch.
It's like he's disappointed.
He knows something's up. He's a very honest individual.
Yeah, of course. Well, I think this is a streamer or a person who tries to dress like a girl and then trick people in a fake voice, but then he said, "What up, bro?"
Yeah, he didn't do the act on this guy.
Down syndrome could have easily tricked the Down syndrome.
He's very honest, though.
Yeah.
He knew something was up.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. All right, we're moving on to our next clip. There is a warning before this clip. If you have children or if you really like us and don't want to see us talk about really disgusting stuff, just skip like 2 minutes ahead.
Yeah,
That's a good warning.
This is
right?
about at the edge. This is at the edge for us.
This almost didn't make it in, but it kind of had to.
Yeah.
All right, let it play.
This is about a gay man.
A gay man and his identity.
Fisting is such a gigantic part of my identity that I feel like a part of me is gone. I feel like there's a big vacancy left where fisting, I don't know what to do with myself during most of the days. I spent so much time playing with my ass and sitting on toys and just playing on cam and like just being a general pig with my butthole that trying to fill the days now is really kind of weird. I don't have a lot of other hobbies. And so it's kind of forcing me to take a mirror to myself and look at myself and figure out who I am without my hole.
Yeah, it's called you blew your ass out.
It's called it doesn't work anymore, brother.
He has nothing to do all day because before this, his schedule was full of ass play. That's all he was up to.
It was like a shift at the factory, 8 hours a day of just digging around his butt and pigging around with his hole, as he calls it.
Now he's medically retired with his blown out ass, which is, I guess, is the equivalent of like a Tommy John surgery for the butt play world.
Yeah, it's the gay guy's Tommy John, except you don't recover from it. You're medically retired. Hang his jersey up in the rafters.
Time to hang up the toys, pull up the diaper.
Yep.
You had a good run. I'm sure you had a great run. It was your identity. It was all everything that you were as a person was
tied up into ass shit.
And
so, I don't know. What is this for? Do we learn something new about how degenerate that side of the culture is every week? Yes. Something shocks me every single time. And I don't know. Are there lessons? Is there anything to learn or no?
Well, there's something to learn because no one fully knows what these gay guys are up to.
Yeah.
And you kind of think like, oh yeah, they probably go out and they go home with each other. And it's like, no, they don't even go home with each other. They go to the bathroom with each other. Like
We've
multiple
covered that.
times.
Yeah.
Like everyone goes to the bathroom with each other the whole time. You know? So it's like you have like an idea of your mind and it's kind of gross. You don't want to think about it. It's actually a million times worse. We covered it with the monkeypox stuff. The dog gets the monkeypox. The kid catches monkeypox. And you kind of start doing the math of like, wait, what are these guys really up to?
Yeah.
This is a little more of a sneak peek into that world.
Yeah. And then the other part is, I think we've talked about it before, diapers, failure. The old retired ones, the ones who aren't grinding on the streets of San Francisco anymore, they can't control anything back there. They're blown out.
Yeah, like Vietnam vets.
Yeah, shit in their pants, except instead of seeing Viet Cong in the jungle and fearing loud noises, you shit in your pants and you need a diaper. So
not good.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we showed you guys that.
It's imagine being related to this guy. You see this and you're like, and he's talking about it, doing an interview, and you're like his dad, and you're like, oh my God.
Uncle Eddie.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, that's what he's up to. All right, next we have a girl who is handicapped and is on a dating site and is complaining about how people approach her on the dating apps.
You want me to read it? It says,
Yeah.
I'm not just a parking spot. I am a human. Dating apps as a disabled person are a nightmare.
And it shows some of the things.
At least we'll have good parking on our first date. At least if we go on a date, we don't have to worry about parking. Handicap parking, biggest green flag. Is this your walker? If we go out together, can we park in the blue handicap spot at stores? You have no idea how badly I want to park in those.
It's nothing worse than a handicapped person with a bad attitude.
And then she's saying she's tired of this is the opening line.
And what's going on in this situation is all of these guys that messaged you are messaging you basically saying, I'm interested in dating you. I'm going to make light of your handicap situation and make a joke about it. But at the end, I'm still down to go out with you and we can park in the handicap spot. So they're like trying to be playful and fun and also let her know that whatever her handicap is isn't going to stop them. And they're trying to make a joke, but that's like offensive to her for some reason.
You just pissed her off, and she's going to get the Mighty Midget team out here to come and cancel you.
They were going to go out with you.
Yeah, it's like a signal that like, oh, cool, I'm acknowledging it. I've moved on from it. It's not a big deal to me.
Yeah. And they make a joke and hoping that you're like making jokes about it too, and then you're a cool girl. But you're not. You're a handicapped person with a bad attitude.
Yeah, and thus, that's why you shouldn't be dating anybody, because these types of people, they'll be like, oh, you're a weird stiff who's kind of policing language and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. I understand getting tired of it, but like making the internet video like everyone's wrong and you're right and you're the victim.
Yeah.
The guys are just trying to be friendly, dude. Like so many people... like, what's up, bitch? You know, there's so many way worse things happening on dating apps than someone playfully bringing up a thing that's.
Want to go to Barry's boot camp?
Yeah, that's clearly featured in your picture.
All right, moving on. Speaking of dating apps, we have a little chart here of the last few years of Bumble versus Grindr stock price.
Yeah, Bumble down 94% over the past 5 years, absolute botch job, and Grindr up 76% in 1 year.
In 1 year.
So those are different time scales, so it's not quite the same. But I know Grindr's done pretty well. Let me look it up on my computer really quick.
Yeah, and there are different business models for these two apps. Like if you're on Bumble, if you like meet somebody and you get a boyfriend or you get married, like both of those people leave the app. So it's kind of like not destined to fail, but it doesn't, it declines, and then more people come in, and the way things are these days, I think girls these days don't really want to be the first person to message, like the app was initially created for that. Yeah. So like there's less of that feminist streak where people want to message first, so there's like reasons it's going down. When you're on Grindr, no one's meeting and getting married. They're just effing and essing each other.
They're meeting.
Everywhere.
And then they're meeting. And then they're meeting.
And then there's more people who are gay who are on the app. And the pool just grows like this of all these people who are down to F and S each other.
Yeah, it's like the World War Z zombies climbing over the fence. They just keep coming. They keep growing. And coming and growing. Maybe we should have
It's
told
a
them to
way
skip
better
this.
business model. If you presented me Bumble, where girls message first, or Grindr, where gay guys hook up, I'm obviously not a fan of either app, especially not Grindr. but I would invest in Grindr.
Yeah.
I go, gay hookup, a proximity app. We'll take the money. Where do I send the money? All right, let's moving on. Coachella this past weekend and this upcoming weekend too. It's multiple weeks, right?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I think so.
A lot of young people are going. It's very important for them to go, and they're going into debt to attend.
Did you know that more than half of the people who are going to Coachella GA this year are using a payment plan to pay for their ticket? I'm getting this information from a new Billboard story by Dave Brooks, who's our live music reporter. And what he found in his reporting is that this is a result of live music prices soaring in recent years. Approximately 60% of the general admission tickets sold for Coachella this year used a payment plan. This means that some fans were required to only pay as little as $49.99 to put their money down for a ticket this year. And this is not just a Coachella phenomenon either. Lollapalooza, EDC, and Rolling Loud also do the same thing. Oh, and I thought this part was crazy. So there's this one source who told Billboard that he knows of people who are, paying 4 or 5 festivals at a time on payment plans.
Yeah.
And you get charged like a fee in lieu of interest, I believe, but it's like an extra fee to be able to do this.
And then what does Coachella look like? Well, here's what getting Chinese food looks like. Someone said $90 worth of Chinese food at Coachella. And it looks great.
Yeah, it does look pretty
It's
good.
expensive.
Yeah.
And then here's the 8 a.m. shower line. And the person who posted said you can see people covering their nose because it's so stinky.
Yeah.
You see the lady covering her face?
Multiple people are sitting in a stink pile.
So everyone's stinky, sweating out the drugs from the night before, waiting for hours to take a shower. And you go into debt to attend this concert. What do you think is going to happen? That's like why I stopped going out years ago. To go, we're going to get drunk and something crazy is going to happen.
And then what?
It's like, what's going to happen? What's the crazy part? Someone's going to say something. Someone's going to get into a fight. Someone's going to get arrested.
Yeah.
What's the point of going out?
Yeah. Well, come on. I don't fully agree with you there, but I'm more focused on the debt to go out ratio of this. And is it that important? I think the social media, the Instagram, the FOMO is creating these debt slaves where you're getting squeezed everywhere else, and then you're like, but I got to go to Coachella. I'm 22. I'll only be 23 once, and
So
I have
true.
to be to Coachella. And it's added to another thing of the list of people are financing, and they're not even doing it. It's not like a new third party like Klarna or something. It's like Ticketmaster, and some of these ticket buying websites are doing it themselves. And I think you're going to see a new class of Gen Z person who does the Coachella payment plan, and then they get the DoorDash over 4 weeks, and then they're going to add things to this. And I'm renting all the furniture at my apartment from Rent-A-Center, and
Paying for jeans over time.
and then there's going to be these people who build every piece of their life in this debt thing, and then they go, yeah, so what if my credit's blown?
Fuck it.
And honestly, I think it could be a good thing,
It's a new bubble.
Well, yeah, not a good thing. I don't want to say that because your credit's going to be blown, and then when it's time to get an apartment or a house or do this or do that, you're screwed. But I think there's a certain type of impulsive or like low care person who's going to live off this debt and be like, I'll get the DoorDash. And, and you don't know if they're in
You
debt.
go to $100K in debt and you pay like $220 a month for the rest of your life.
Yeah, there's a debt consolidation or a bankruptcy. You can't declare bankruptcy for student loans, but for a burrito, yeah, you can. For the concert tickets, yeah, you can. I think there's going to be a huge amount of like people who just kind of stop paying or blow up their account or do bankruptcy that it's not even going to matter. And they're like, so what? Enjoyed my 20s, nuked my credit, but that'll be gone in 7 years.
I'll never be 30.
Yeah, that's miles away. So I don't know. I hope the people offering this get screwed is what I'm saying.
There is a new business model where like the real money is turning your company into a bank. Like you said, it used to be third parties. Now Ticketmaster's doing the pay extra over time and with a little bit of interest. It's like everyone's kind of adopting a banking model.
And especially because for their accounting practices, they can recognize the revenue now, but they don't have to actually receive it. There's like little tricks accounting wise. And there's a saying, when you owe the bank $1 million, it's your problem. When you owe the bank $1 billion, it's their problem, And at this point, I think if enough of Gen Z gets on these payment plans, it kind of does like a universal, all right, or an economic collapse or a crisis, a recession happens. a lot of these people are going to get screwed, and maybe that's what we need to clean this filth anyway.
And then Joe Biden in 2028 can say, I'm going to get rid of all your burrito payments.
Student loans are still on the books, but those burrito payments are gone, I'm telling you.
All right, that was a solid cringe. We're now moving on to Urban Decay. All right, our first clip of Urban Decay is a scary one. A woman went out partying, got very drunk, went home, and the Uber Lyft driver got a little handsy.
It's video that will leave you outraged.
Where is...
Right here. A rideshare driver appears to be groping his passenger's breasts as he helps her to her front door. Her purse is draped around her neck, and you can hear her dog barking inside her house as she slurs her words.
Are you an Uber driver?
He put his hands around her waist.
What company?
Oh, Lyft.
Lyft?
Yes, yeah. I want to make sure you get home safely.
Now the woman who says she was groped is speaking out.
It's disgusting. I was so intoxicated. I was falling over. And to know that someone would take advantage of someone in that state, it's unimaginable.
Did you remember the driver grabbing you like that? Did you have any recollection of that?
Not at all.
The Lyft driver didn't park his car outside of Lauren's house. He actually parked it down the street. One of Lauren's neighbors went outside to check out the suspicious car and heard the commotion on Lauren's front porch and went to see if everything was okay.
Steve, I love you so.
You're welcome. I just want to make sure everything's all right.
I told him, listen, I said, that's my neighbor, and I'm watching over her. And he took off.
Do you feel your neighbor saved you?
Absolutely.
A nice neighbor. Thank you, Steve.
Yeah. America needs more Steves, more neighbor Steves.
Yeah, more neighbor Steves. And obviously, this is a horrible situation, and it's not good. But Mohammed, the Lyft driver, groped you? What?
Oh, yeah. Oh, let me order you a Lyft. I'll get you home. Your ride's with Muhammad in a Toyota Yaris. Good luck. I know you're blacked out.
And you're blacked out. And then also you're 50-something years old, and you're blacked out, which is obviously a problem. In high trust America, you can take a cab home or a Lyft home or someone will drive you, and you're probably going to be fine. In low trust America, when we're filled with third worlders who are getting jobs like this,
things changed.
Things changed. You can't really do that anymore. No. Obviously a bad situation, but you're 50-something years old and you're blacked out.
Driving one-on-one with an Uber or Lyft driver, you know.
I wouldn't send anyone I know to be drunk driven home in a Lyft.
Yeah. And so it is partially, you know, we're not the oh my God, you didn't deserve that. What percent would you attribute to each party?
50-50.
No.
Is that bad?
Well, I was going to say 80-20. I was going to say 80-20, 20 on the woman.
I'll do 70-30.
But you got to be protecting yourself a little bit more. And it's not the same thing. Lyft, whoever's on this guy's account, we've covered it on the show. People using other people's accounts or delivering food from a woman and it's a guy. It's a Guatemalan guy. You know, it's not the time to be, I'll place my trust into this, whatever this app is.
Yeah.
That time's over, unfortunately. And there actually may never even have been a part of that. I would say maybe the first couple years, 2016, 2015, 2014 era of Uber. Maybe they were actually vetting people then.
Yeah.
But they were probably expanding too fast that they didn't even do that.
Yep. Not the time to be drunk driven home in an Uber.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to our next story.
The eye contact with the Ring camera. Oh, I'm just here to make sure you get in. Double cupped up, looking at the camera.
Got his ass.
Fuck.
All right, next we have a domestic abuse situation with a college football player who is projected to be drafted in the upcoming NFL draft. We'll let that clip play, please. And it's hard to see, but at this point, he chokes her out, and she goes unconscious. And the boyfriend's name was Quaydarius.
Yeah, it's Quaydarius, and he's an NFL prospect, and he's got everything to lose. And a bright future ahead of himself if he can just control himself for a couple more years and kind of stay the straight and narrow.
He'll make millions of dollars.
Yeah, you'll be a cornerback. You can have multiple baby mamas with that salary.
Yeah. And then similar to the Uber situation, oh no, you were groped by Mohammed, the Uber driver. You got domestically abused by Quaydarius.
Checks notes, Quaydarius. Ah, yeah, you probably should have seen that one coming.
Maybe could have seen that one coming.
You don't date Quaydarius and you don't get into the Mohammed car alone. But yeah, and there's an interesting lesson here, which is that short-term versus long-term, like, ability to plan and think. Like, you know how they've often said, like, how I give my black son the talk, or I give, that thinking about, like, your future, or police will come and they'll take anyone's word against yours. I'm not going to let anything get in the way of my dream. I'm going to go into the NFL. I'm going to be done with this place, these apartments and my college town and whatever. There's no ability to think long term. He's so impulsive. I'm angry now. Joker, get her down. It's not. There's not much long term shit. This could really affect me. It's just do the bad thing now. Impulse control issues. So
can't control it.
Get fucked.
Lots to lose, and I hope he loses it.
Me too.
All right, next, there was a shooting at UC Davis. We have a picture here of the incident. So that's one of the shooters.
Extendo clip, Kool-Aid in hand, shredded jeans, boxers out. And he's in that stance. I see that stance a lot. And that low crouching, like athletic moving forward, pop, 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 the pop, pop, pop stance. I think we need a name for this, and we'll have to circle back.
Yep. So that's a picture of the incident. And then the police came, and this is what they said about the description of the individual.
Suspect description at all? Anything you can tell the public?
At this point, no. It was, we call it a fire hose of information. You have a whole lot of people out there who are scared and they're calling the police, and we're getting a lot of conflicting information that all came in at once. So again,
can't give a description, even though there's a picture of the guy. You don't want people to be suspicious of black people and assume they're doing violence, I guess.
Yeah, and to be fair to that cop, we don't know exactly when this picture came out compared to that, but this is the let me talk to a sketch artist. Were you there? No.
I could get you close.
I could get you close. Black male between the ages of 18 and 30.
Hair kind of dready.
No, you don't describe the hair because it could be anything.
Yeah, it's true.
But you say 6'3", skinny. It's usually a skinny one.
Mm-hmm.
And, you start rounding him up.
He had a gun with an extended mag in it.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to describe. So the cop didn't give a description.
And this is an extended mag in California, which has the strictest magazine laws in the nation, right? So criminal doesn't listen to laws.
Yeah, exactly.
More tonight at 7.
And then no description because you don't want people to jump to any conclusions. But if you look at the stats, young black men 14 to 49 are 3% of the U.S. population, but commit 43% of homicides. The media has no interest in this subject from End Wokeness. That's
crazy.
Interesting.
It's a very crazy 3%, 43% of homicides.
Everyone does the 13% does 50 or 60. I think it's going up.
Yeah.
But then if you take away women and then take away old people.
Take away babies, old people, women. Who can really do it?
You're really left with like 3% of the population doing all the problems. Yeah. And then whenever we talk about this, or even when we post about it, any of the backlash we get and flack we get for talking about it, it's always like, oh, you're getting a couple outliers and you're trying to paint a broad picture of what black people are. And we talked about this last week on the last episode where 1 in 3 black people will be convicted of a felony in their lifetime.
1 in 22 or something like that will commit a murder.
And 1 in 22 will murder. So then I'm starting to think the outliers aren't the criminals. I think the outliers are, well, I know so-and-so who's got a 4.0 GPA and he's in the science club.
Yeah, that's
not fair to, say he's potentially a criminal because of other bad behavior. The 4.0 GPA in the science club, that's the outlier.
Yeah. 100%.
Unfortunately.
I know.
And then our next clip is on a Carnival cruise. I don't have much to say about it. At least they're having fun.
They went into debt for this.
Yeah, they went into debt.
That's 25% APR.
And then I found this meme that I'm kind of parlaying off of it. And it says, so I ran the numbers on reparations. After subtracting for crime, you actually owe white people $4.7 trillion. And another thing that I thought would be a good time to bring up, there are people online who are getting into fights with black people of America, specifically Africans or Africans who came to America. They're not seeing themselves as in the same group, like American blacks versus Africans who come to America. The Africans who come to America look down on American blacks and are kind of like mad at them. We have some tweets here to sum that up.
Yeah, this woman said, saying black Americans don't have any culture is insane. And then somebody quote tweeted it and said, no mother tongue, no totems, no clan names, no traditional attire or food. What is your culture exactly? Black Americans show zero respect for other cultures or communities within the diaspora, talk down on anybody who tries to educate them, and they wonder why nobody likes them. Crazy. So there's a nobody likes them attitude from Africans towards the black Americans.
And I've noticed that too with any one of my friends in my whole life who's ever been Nigerian.
They go, no.
They're always like, no, we're not. It's not the same.
I'm Nigerian.
That's not the same. They're not like us. Yeah. So it's something to think about. All right, our last clip of Urban Decay is a female cop in a tough situation. We talked about this in Bonus Land the other day. We showed female cops who were kind of underqualified for the job. And this one is in the same category.
There's a biker! No, he attempted to hit a person on a bike. He has a tire iron. I'm gonna hit him. Head on. He's crashing my vehicle intentionally as well. He's running at me. Stop! Stop! Don't let him get it! Stop!
Cut it out!
Thank you.
Cut it out!
Stop!
I got him.
No, he's trying to grab my gun.
Get out the cook.
Stop trying to bite me. I'm pregnant. So I need to get some. He tried killing that lady. He tried to grab my gun. Shut up, I don't trust you. You good, dude?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
So she says, I'm pregnant. And then just some random guy ends up wrestling the guy down and saving her.
Starts practicing his jujitsu for fun, pulls over, gets a guy in an arm bar, and then he has to handle the handcuffs too.
And then the pregnant lady, just because it probably felt good to say, oh, we have ladies on the force now. And we talked about this in Bonus Land. If you're a cop, you want your partner to be some juiced up, tatted up guy who does jujitsu.
Yeah, a shredded guy, cauliflower ear, the most intimidating, big, heavy. You don't want him to be running and chasing people down. You want him to be standing and holding his ground, right?
Exactly. And if you're a cop and that's your partner, you're like more confident in your ability to stay alive. Your wife's probably happy that you're paired with Giant Mike.
If I'm a criminal, I'm not going to test Giant Mike, am I?
That's the key difference, and that's what we cracked in Bonus Land. If you're a cop and you're tatted up, juiced up, and you know jujitsu, everyone who's a criminal coming into contact with you knows that, and they're probably less likely to try you, resist arrest, run away, try to wrestle out. If you're a woman cop, you're the least capable compared to the jacked guy. You're less capable, and you're more likely to get tried because if you're like a street rat criminal and there's a woman trying to arrest you, you can say, I'm just going to run away, or I can get away from her, or I can wrestle out of her, or I can run through her.
This arrest doesn't really count.
Yeah, so there's like a thing where a woman who's less capable gets tried more, and then the guy who's jacked and on steroids and does jujitsu gets tried less.
Wow, he just turned around and put his arms behind his back, and then the woman's like, I need assistance, help, I need assistance, I'm pregnant.
So there's a lesson there, guys.
Yeah, the least qualified end up getting tested more, which is a bad cycle to be in, and that's why you want to be with Big Mike.
And then there's no world where you can say, all right, well, we're going to have a lady cop and we're going to train her and then she'll be equivalent to the Big Mike guy.
Yeah.
You can't.
They'll never be intimidated. And then even if she is kind of a hard ass, like former Marine or did something and then knows jujitsu, they still test her anyway.
Yeah.
And she might win against a crackhead or somebody who's weak, but she won't win against an average strong man.
Exactly. Well, don't get too down or too depressed. Moving on to uplifting gold, and we have some truly uplifting stuff. Our first is a scene from Saw the Musical. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like that actually.
I like that a lot.
What's the point of musicals? Just the songs and like, because everybody knows the story when they already go to it, right?
Yeah.
All right. So
it's just fun.
Yeah.
And then there's like an irony aspect to it, which I really like, where like musicals are kind of like high society and proper. And then you do Saw the musical and it's like, fuck your gay theater shit.
Yeah, true.
All right, next we have a guy doing a high jump. I wonder if he's going to nail it or not. Oh, no.
Why'd he take that angle?
I don't know. I don't think he ever had it in him.
Yeah, all right.
All right, our next clip. We're getting into a little bit of a music section. As you guys know, I have people with entertaining talents who I'm constantly following. And I'm also trying to build my stable of people in the Best Singers Club. And I haven't really been able to sign that many people. This guy...
You successfully signed 0, right?
Well, I've done collabs.
You've gotten people to say one thing or do one thing.
I've done collabs, and I've also influenced and what's a word? Mentored some up and coming stars. Here's a couple that I think are doing very well.
Talk to me, be careful you do. Don't go down, break young girls' hearts. And models talk to me, be careful who you know. Be careful you do. I could allow the hamster, Bill Jean, not my love. Oh, she's just some girl who can that I am the one. But the girl is not my son. She said I am the one. But the girl is not my son. Bill with jeans, not my love. Oh!
All right.
That was good.
No, it wasn't.
You don't like that?
Not at all.
I really like that. That's special.
That's good for you.
All right, next in the same
Are you
vein-
surprised? Not at all. I don't enjoy it. Another pet, another miss.
I like it.
It's just your thing. It's your thing. It's
my thing.
Yeah, it's not mine.
And then
you
next,
can't force me to like it.
But
I like the puns, Mohammed Jackson. You know, I think that's funny. I can't. A minute in, I'm spiking like this. I'm going down like a pregnant woman cop after a minute. So that's me.
All right, in Japan they have honky tonks, Texas honky tonks.
Traces of what I'm dreaming of. Now that I found the friend and the lover, I bless the day I discover another heart looking for love.
That's cool. That's in Japan.
I like that. And then you know it's Japan because they just have like Texas A&M parking only and then Texas parking, Longhorn fans only, and they're like rivals.
Yeah.
They don't care. They just go close enough.
That's where I would hang out in Japan, and I would just tell stories.
Yeah.
All night, good stories.
Make them up.
Yeah.
I was busting Broncos down in El Paso.
Donald Trump shot him.
Yeah.
All right, next we have a kid who's a singer as well.
It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. Everything's fucked. Everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you want to justify working someone's head up. No human contact, and if you're into it, your life is on contract. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just one of those days. It's all about the he said, she said bullshit.
That's good.
Imagine the dad hearing that. Like, oh, God.
How's your music going?
Tommy's downstairs again.
Pretty good. That was good. It was okay.
You know, I hope that's his first try. Or
No, he's got a
try.
whole profile like that.
Okay.
All right. Next is someone who's very good at music because she was trained before she was born.
I just hear the chords and then it goes in my mind and then I play it.
C E G B. Is that C?
No, that's B flat. A, C sharp, and D.
8 notes. Here we go. Ready? Wow, good job.
That was so intense. You're key to my peace of mind. 'Cause you make me
We get it.
Yeah. She's good, and she's got an ear for music.
And it was programmed from a very young age.
It was destiny from Dad. It was Dad's destiny.
Yeah, and then you started in the womb. Yeah, you can get something out of it.
Yeah, a little bit. I think a little bit.
I think a lot of
Like a
it.
tiny little bit.
I think it programmed in the DNA, and then if you're in the womb and mom's smoking Black and Wilds and
Black and Wilds?
What are they called?
Black and Milds.
Black and Wilds, getting wild, and going on Facebook Live, and I could drink a little bit.
Yeah.
And you turn
No
into-
doubt. We're talking about alcohol versus playing music at a belly, though.
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying, there's a lot of different ways to raise a baby.
Okay.
All right, and speaking of, we're going to end with this clip, another example of that.
This kid's got a cart. He's getting a... What is that?
Squash.
Yeah, probably. He's got a cart for all his friends. And he likes the baby. The baby's important. Now it's time to drive off. He's loaded up. That thing can tow.
Very cool. Love to see it.
That's an ideal life.
Well, that's the end of the show.
Okay.
Motherfuckers Talks in the books. Thank you guys for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. We have a couple shout outs, nothing crazy.
Oh.
Happy birthday to Brandon, who turns 26 on April 16th. Him and Maya, his girlfriend, are big show watchers, and he's a bonus land.
Happy birthday.
That's very nice, and we're glad you guys like the show. And happy belated to Joe from Lucy and Olivia. I missed this email a few weeks back, so I'm sorry for that. You have a wonderful family. Happy belated birthday, Joe from Lucy and Olivia. Are you happy now? You've been featured on the show. It's your birthday. Sorry it was so late. Joe? Joe.
Happy birthday, Joe.
Happy birthday, Joe. All right. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you on Friday.
I think you better quit feeling that shit, punk, so come and get it.